Hi friends, welcome back for another jam-packed episode.
This time we've got petroglyphs, we've got mountain biking, we've got folk art, we've got a ton of stuff. Jump in the passenger seat, let's go.
This part of the journey is over 350 miles over about 3 or 4 days. We left White Sands National Park in the early morning. We had stayed over at a Walmart parking lot, which was great. Our first stop was Three Rivers Petroglyphs with over 20,000 petroglyphs. We had a really short hike and saw a variety of these.
Now, there's a lot that isn't known about these petroglyphs and who created them, especially what the various symbols mean, whether they're religious, whether they tell some kind of a story. Now, having just come from Roswell and visiting the UFO Museum and Research Center, the answer seemed obvious to me: aliens. But a sign in the parking lot claims they were created over 600 years ago by local prehistoric Indian culture. So I guess we'll never know.
We carried on to Albuquerque, where we met up with our new friends, Eddie and Ginger, and went for a bike ride on some of their local trails. It was great to see them again. We had met them in Arkansas during the eclipse. A big shout out and thank you for their hospitality.
We felt like we were a little bit slow on our bike ride with them. We're going to blame the altitude, which was about 7,000 feet there. And we're not going to blame the week or so of barbecue and beer that we'd done in Texas. Definitely couldn't be it.
The next day, we headed up to Santa Fe, which turns out to be one of our favorite towns so far. It was super neat just to walk around town, lots of artist shops, lots of cool little shopping. We actually toured the Capitol, the New Mexico Capitol building, which had a lot of artwork from artists across New Mexico. And we did a visit to the International Folk Art Museum.
A big part of the displays at that museum all came from the collection of one guy, Alex Girard, who was a collector. He donated over 100,000 pieces of folk art that he'd collected from around the world, and he even designed the displays and the dioramas and the entire space. So that was really neat. I really enjoyed that one. My grandfather did a lot of interesting art. He did a lot of painting, a lot of really neat wood carving. And so places like this always remind me very much of him. It was really cool. Our final stop in Santa Fe was unlike anything we've ever visited before. This place was called Meow Wolf, and it was an interactive art experience. This one's hard to describe, but we've spent a couple hours wandering through it. There was a storyline in it about a man who had discovered portals to other dimensions, and there was a house in the middle of the building, and you sort of branched out from there into these various dimensions and visited and interacted with various pieces of art.
And that's how Craig ended up climbing through a dryer into another dimension.
So this was a really neat experience. They have attractions in a few other cities now, like Denver, like Las Vegas. So I encourage you to check out their website and check them out if you're ever in one of those towns.
Having finished up our tour of Santa Fe, we decided to put in a few miles on the road towards our next destination. We got into the Carson National Forest and stayed at the Echo Amphitheater campground, a really small campground, only about 20 sites or so, and I think there were 3 other campers there. It was a beautiful night, a little bit cool as we were getting high in elevation, but a super neat place.
That brings us around now to the numbers. Days on the road, hey, we're at an even 50 at this point. Pretty solid over 7 weeks. Journeys to other dimensions via home appliances. This is my first time. I'm not sure when I'm going to get to add to that number, but the first time was a pleasant enough experience. And also a question for you is like, what other stats would you like to know about our travels? What are you curious about? Throw your questions in the comments. We're happy to tailor our stats as well as anything we talk about on here to your interests or your questions. So please do fire away. We always enjoy reading your comments.
We really enjoyed Texas. However, New Mexico might be our new favorite state. Sadly, we're leaving. We have to carry on. Where are we off to next?
Next up, it is to Mesa Verde National Park in Colorado, home of the famous cliff dwellings. And we also experience a little change in the weather that you might want to bring your mittens for that episode. Stick around. We'll see you there.